And I'm here with Matt Ramotar. How you doing, Matt?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So you, by day, work at Uber, correct?
Correct.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Joined about 6 months ago, coming from Dropbox.
Very cool. Very cool. Good resume. So you're here at Droidcon, and I know you're talking a little bit about the Native Mobile Foundation. Can you tell us more about what that is, what its mission, what it's like, who's a part of the foundation?
Yeah, so there are, I don't know how many, 20, 30 different big tech companies that are a part of it. There are engineers at all of these companies that contribute to different open source projects that the Mobile Native Foundation owns. The chair of it is a guy named Ty Smith. I'm not sure if you're interviewing him later, but
I don't think so. But.
Okay, so Ty is an engineer at Uber, and he basically brought me over.
Very cool, very cool. And my understanding is that it's a lot of it's collaboration amongst a lot of big companies or a lot of folks all contributing into native mobile kind of development. What does that collaboration look like? It's got, you get the idea, especially at these massive kind of companies, that you guys are all kind of in your own little silos, but seeing collaboration at events like Droidcon here or groups like this shows kind of more of a promotion of camaraderie in the ecosystem. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very cool. So when I presented at Droidcon with this new library, afterwards, I shared a design document with engineers from Google, from Cash App, from Airbnb, from obviously Uber, Dropbox, and a few others, and just having the input from these different companies and their specific use cases really improved it and shaped the direction, because we were building it for these companies at scale rather than some small sample app.
Right, exactly. And I guess kind of rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. We're all in it together sort of thing. So you mentioned that you're building things at scale, and Uber is a not a massive organization, but a massive application, and you mentioned Google and you previously were at Dropbox and things like that. What are some of the biggest challenges when you're operating at that level of scale?
The immediate thing that comes to mind is one small change can have a huge impact, which makes even the smallest things risky. Just one crash can be like millions of dollars if it goes unfixed for even like half an hour. So just being very methodical and safe is probably the biggest thing that comes to mind.
Right. And I got to imagine there's a lot of code review or kind of, stuff shouldn't go out unchecked, right?
Yeah, definitely. Things need to be tested thoroughly.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got involved in Android development.
Yeah. So I actually started 5-6 years ago. I thought I wanted to be an MD PhD actually. And so I was on that career path. I kind of abandoned ship and taught myself how to code. I started at Dropbox maybe 4 years ago as an intern, and then I just kind of kept working my way up. One of the engineers at Dropbox was a staff engineer. His name's Mike Nakimovich. I was an intern, he was a staff engineer, and I put forward this proposal. He thought it was cool, and then we started working together. He left Dropbox, went to Twitter, but we stayed in touch. He started this library called Store, and then he brought me over to start working on it. Yeah. And so I eventually contributed enough where I was made a maintainer. Mike and I gave a talk on Store at Droidcon last year, and then I've just kind of continued to be more and more involved.
That's great. Well, can you tell us a little bit about Store and what you're doing here giving a talk for, right?
Yeah. So Store is a library for loading data, basically, efficiently. So if you pull out your Uber app or your TikTok app, basically what it means for the user is making the stuff on the screen visible as soon as possible, and so that it works when you don't have good internet connection.
Okay. And have you gotten a lot of feedback on it from developers, users? What does the feedback loop look like on a project like that?
I think there's a lot of feedback at the design. They're at different parts in the development lifecycle. So we will create design documents. We'll get feedback from other engineers. Then we'll go build it. In my experience, there's less feedback with each pull request, It's more at the design stage.
Interesting.
And then when it's actually rolled out and we start to get complaints from users, but the like other companies are more involved at the design stage than submitting like bug reports.
Right, sure. So when you mentioned getting complaints from users, what does that process look like? Is it, because oftentimes users can get very frustrated and might not use the technical, like the specifications. Do you have to do a little detective work to figure out exactly what's going on with the complaint? Or?
Yeah, sometimes. It's, in general, we have a Slack channel now with Kotlin, and so people can put requests in there, they can complain, they can send me DMs, and so I get all of that. And if it's something that's like a one-off, I'll try my best to respond quickly. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it goes weeks or longer where I can't look into it. If it's something that's generalizable, I'll try to either create an issue from it, start a discussion, or just put it somewhere where it's discoverable by other people. So that I think it's great that we have users who are complaining or we have users who are engaged, because in order for open source to really work, there needs to be community.
Right.
So I definitely wouldn't want people to hear this and think like, don't bug us, like bug us as much as you want.
Yeah, what I think is really, that mentioned community and collaboration, I kind of keep coming back to that because I feel like in the mainstream world, there's the stereotype of the coder in the basement, working all night by themselves, very kind of, isolating and lonely. But in reality, being here at Droidcon and seeing about the collaboration that happens in the various Slacks and things like that, it seems like you guys are communicating both internally in the companies where you work at, but also externally with each other, to help work move along. Has that been your experience?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that technical expectations taper off very quickly. Yep. And then to level up, it's all about being able to work with people, get alignment, get things done. It's not about writing code.
Right. Very cool. So so in your time as an Android developer, what has been some of the biggest kind of frustrations in developing Android? Like if you could call up Google and say, can we fix this? What would it be?
So I have an iPhone. I'm an Apple guy, and I started as an Android engineer because that's just what the opening was. And so I love developing Android. I don't know that I have complaint. I love Kotlin. Kotlin is the best language out there. It is.
Wow.
I love it, and it's like fun to work with. It's I don't know that I'm sure like if I thought about it, I could write a document with things I would improve. But I like top of mind, high level. I love Android.
Yeah. Do you ever get any crap from other folks for being an iPhone guy?
All the time, yeah.
So why the iPhone then? What's the decision making there?
Well, so as a user, I like my iPhone, but I like developing Android more than I do iOS.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, so that's consistent. So cool, excellent. Well, thanks so much for chatting with us, Matt. And if people want to find you out on the internet, is there any you out in the social media space or anything? Or
I have probably I think I do have a what's it called, Mastodon account?
Mastodon, yep.
I can send it to you after. I don't know actually what it is. It's probably,
we'll link it up. Yeah, we'll take care of that. So excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt. We really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Droidcon.
Thank you.
All right.